Hi everyone. Sorry I can't be with you today. Really gutted that I can't, but wanted to share a meditation that I really hope will be a blessing to you this morning. Um, for this meditation, we're going to immerse ourselves in the story we've been talking about. So we're going to take a few minutes to put everything else aside and put ourselves in the position of the woman at the well. So, can I suggest that you get yourself into a comfortable position? Maybe close your eyes. Maybe put your hands out. Take a few deep breaths in and out. Let's ask the Holy Spirit to speak to us as we use our imaginations to find a place of encounter with Jesus. You're exhausted and you're lonely. It's boiling hot outside and you know you're going to have to walk down to the well in the noonday heat. You know that you're going to have to bring that heavy jar of water back up the hill. And you know it's because no one else wants you. They all go in the cool of the morning, but you're not one of them. They say you're not good enough for them or for God. You think about how you see their eyes on you in the marketplace, dark with suspicion and hatred. You know that you can't gain their friendship, and you are so tired, so lonely. The walk to the well is long. The ground is mud-packed and rocky. Your sandals are falling apart. You graze your feet on the stones. The dust weaves through the air and you stop breathless. You can't even get down to the well without falling apart. Then you see him. You don't know who he is, but he's sitting on the ground near the well, whittling away at a twig. Your pulse speeds, and you keep your eyes pinned to the ground. Men haven't been good to you. You feel afraid. You pull your scarf further over your head, and then you get your jar ready. His words shock you. Would you give me a drink? His voice is like the sweetness of honey, and you can see he's a Jew. It's in his voice, his clothing, on his face. But Jews hate Samaritans. Why is he speaking to you, a Samaritan, and even more, a woman? You're a nothing. You're the lowest of the low. Is he mocking you? Planning to harm you? His eyes are kind. You swallow as you ask him why he asked you for a drink. Your throat is rough with dust. You wait for the rebuff, the shame. But his eyes are kind. Silence hangs in the air like the beams of sunlight dancing in a dust. And then he smiles. You look to the ground, confused, ashamed. Then he says, if you knew the gift of God, how generous God is, and who I am asking you for a drink, you would ask me for one instead. What? You would ask me for a drink, and I would give you living water fresh and abundant. You can't stop yourself staring at him, drinking in his words. Something deep in you is unlocking. But sir, you say, you don't have a bucket even to draw this water, and this well is deep. How are you planning to get this living water? His eyes are a chasm you want to fall into. You look at the ground in confusion. He smiles again, and then he says words that run through your soul. Everyone who drinks this water will keep getting thirsty, won't they? You nod slowly. They will get thirsty again and again. But anyone who drinks this water I'm offering, this living water, will never thirst, never again. What does he mean? The water I give will well up inside in cascading fountains of everlasting life. You gaze into the well as if to see this living water, as if you can take hold of it here and now. I want to never thirst again, you say. Then he says, go, call your husband and come back. You avoid his gaze. I have no husband. The man stares at the piece of wood in his hands, turning it over and over. I know you have no husband. A stone sinks to the pit of your belly. But his voice does not judge. You've had 5 husbands. You drop your jar to the ground. And the man you're with now, he's not your husband. You spoke the truth to me. You're confused. He must be one of those prophets. And then you speak to him about worship and you don't know where you find the confidence and the courage. It's blazing through you. And there's something else blazing through you too when he talks about true worship. Yet a time is coming, in fact has already come, when true worshippers will worship in spirit and in truth. It's those kind of worshippers the Father is looking for. It's how you worship that counts. It's how you live in truth, laying yourself out, every part of you. Those who worship the Father must do it out of their deepest souls. Something in your inmost being thrills to his words. I guess that when the Messiah comes, he will explain all this to us. And your heart is already burning when he replies, I, the one speaking to you now, am he. A silence falls between you. You can almost taste the edges of the living water he was talking about. You are thirsty. You are so thirsty. You are so fixed on him you don't hear the approach of a group of people till they're almost on you, filling up the space with their chatter and laughter. Their faces are a question, but none of them say anything. None of them challenge him for talking to you, a Samaritan, a woman. And suddenly everything seems to come into focus, like all you have been and all you will be is contained here, now, in this moment. Suddenly you're taken over by him, like the water he told you about is rushing through your veins and pelting through your bones. Like he's dragged you from despair and turned you to hope. You never had dignity before. Your husbands wrote you off one by one. Not good enough, not strong enough, not beautiful enough, not fertile enough, not enough. They abandoned you in your shame and left you alone. But this man and his friends, they make you feel different, like you matter. It's like the water is cascading through you, like golden drops on your upturned face, drenching you in love. You have to go and tell them, the people who so hate you. You run like the wind and it's like you're soaring. And when you reach the edges of the village, you realise you left your water jar behind. You laugh at the perfection of it, the truth that you will never thirst again, not in the places that matter. You see them as you enter the village, stopping and staring at you. You must be a vision to them, hair everywhere, dishevelled and panting. Their faces are wells of disapproval, but joy is bubbling up in you. Come and meet him, you say, breathless, wild. Come and see this man. He told me all I ever did. And the living water is a soothing deluge in your heart.